Welcome back to another video. My name is Matt and I help people overcome retroactive jealousy. In this video, we're going to be talking about relapsing. We're going to talk about those bumps in the road, those little speed bumps that we have on our journey of recovery from retroactive jealousy. They happen to everybody. I promise it's not different for you. Everybody goes through them, and we're going to talk about the best ways to handle them. Before we do, though, if you could take a quick moment and smash the like button so we can get this video out to more people, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, so these bumps in the road, these relapses, again, there's going to be times where you feel incredible, right? There's going to be times where you feel amazing, where you say, I think I'm getting to the end of this thing, I think I'm going to overcome this thing, and then you wake up the next day and not so good, right? And then you might have a spree of a couple weeks where it's just not so good. It's very easy to get down on ourselves on these not so good days. I'll tell you, I could go into stories and stories and stories and tell you about my little relapses or bumps in the road. Literally, there would be times where I felt like I was over it. Like I remember being at work one time and I had like 3 days where I felt really great. And I was at work and I was working at a hotel and I was working at nighttime. And I brought up an RJ thought in my mind that bothered me, and I didn't feel any anxiety at all. I didn't feel any anxiety. And I kept doing it kind of throughout the night a little bit, no anxiety, and I felt so good. And I was like, I did it. I overcame it. This is so cool. And where I worked, there's two hotels next to each other, and there's a walkway between the two hotels. And in that walkway, there's a bunch of palm trees, and it's a light show at nighttime. This is Disney stuff. It's a light show at night, and all lights up, and it's beautiful. You walk down the path, and you watch the lights. And I remember, I'm like, to celebrate that I've now overcome retroactive jealousy, I'm going to, even though I'm working, I'm going to go to the light show, and I'm going to watch, and I'm going to look and just reflect and see how far I've come. And I remember I did that, and I was like, so amazing, so excited. That night I remember I got food to go. I stopped at a restaurant, got food to go, brought it home to my then girlfriend and was like, yeah, let's eat, let's celebrate. The next day I remember I woke up and it was just like a sword in the heart. Like those same exact thoughts that I was thinking about last night that didn't bother me at all of a sudden just had a grip over me. And I remember I asked 3 questions to my girlfriend that morning to try to cure some of the anxiety. And it obviously just made it worse and worse and worse and worse. And I made her cry, and I just felt terrible. And doesn't feel good to think about it. But it was a big time bump in the road, big time relapse. And unfortunately, I didn't know how to handle relapses at that time. So I just felt, well, I'm back to square one again. Here I go. Back to my depression, back to let me lock myself in the room and think these thoughts over to feel better. And so literally, from that point, it took me several other months to actually get over it from there. I went literally right back to square one. And now knowing what I know now, because then later on I went through kind of other relapses, but I just kept kind of pushing through them. And that's kind of the key I'm going to talk to you about, is when these relapses take place, we almost feel like all the work we put in is worth nothing, right? We're back to square one. And if we allow that to be our dominant thoughts, if we allow that to be yeah, I'm back to square one, guess what? We'll be back to square one, right? We will basically manifest that. That will become our reality if we just get down on ourselves and say, well, I put in all this work, it didn't work, here I am. Kind of, again, that victim mentality, poor me, I'm never going to get over this. That's exactly pretty much what's going to happen. But it's important to understand that this happens to everybody. These speed bumps, these relapses, this happens to everybody. And actually, it usually, I would say 100% of the time mean that you're getting better, okay? The pathway to your goal, any goal in life, is never I'm here, my goal's here, woohoo, I took action and I'm here, okay? It's always zigzag, loop-de-loop, crash and burn up and down until you get to your goal. And you can, to prove my point, you can look at any super successful CEO or, the Bill Gateses of the world, the Steve Jobs of the world, the Warren Buffetts of the world, and they'll tell you man, I crashed and burned a lot. I think it was John Cena, who's a professional wrestler and actor, who basically said like, I've failed like over 1,000 times in my life, or over 3,000 times in my life, and I only succeeded about 2 or 3 times. But it was those 2 or 3 times of success that people noticed, which led me to what I am now. So the idea is like, you're going to fail and fail and fail and fail, and if you let those failures get to you and put importance on those failures, you'll never get to where you're going to go. But it's the failures that catapult you to the success. And here with retroactive jealousy, we have one goal, and that's to get over RJ. So we just need one success. One success is all we need. So, all these failures, all these relapses, all these speed bumps are necessary to get us to that one success. And it will happen if we don't give up. And the one thing that I always try to tell myself in my worst days, is because, when we have all that anxiety, when it's flowing through our veins, that fight or flight response, like our body is reacting as if we're in danger, as if we're dying. So in that moment, it's very hard to see the future. It's very hard to see anything from that moment of super adrenaline response inside of us during those anxious RJ times. So you have to remind yourself, and this worked very well for me, you have to remind yourself, no matter what happens today, no matter how bad I feel, this day is going to end. This day is going to end. One way or another, it's going to end. At some point today, I will be laying in my bed with the light turned off, closing my eyes, and going to sleep. When that time comes, when I'm in bed, do I want to look up at the ceiling and reflect on today and say, man, today sucked. I explored all these thoughts. I wish I didn't do that. Why did I say this? Why did I do that? Or do I want to look up in bed and say, yeah, today sucked. Yeah, I had a lot of anxiety, but I stuck to my path. I didn't ask those questions. I'm so glad I didn't, because some things aren't even bothering me as much right now. I, acted as if I didn't have my RJ for a little bit, and I was able to, hold a good conversation with my partner without feeling anxious. Do you want that to be your day? Because remember, you have that choice. You can choose, no matter how bad you feel, we have a choice in that moment to act on those emotions or to feel those emotions, understand they're there, be aware of them, but act how we want to act. And that was very, very important for me. This was really towards the end of my RJ journey. I mean, about a month of acting like this, and I had overcome it. So that's the main thing I would say, to remind yourself on your worst days. It doesn't matter how many good days you had in a row, and then all of a sudden you have a bad day. That bad day is very important. One, that bad day means you're overcoming it. There's going to be bumps in the road. Remember, the pathway to our goals are loop-de-loops. You drop, and then you go back up. You drop, and then you go up even higher. So getting through that day is very, very important. That means you're overcoming it. So ask yourself in that moment, dang, I feel like crap today. I know today's going to be rough, but I have a choice right now. At the end of the day, do I want to feel like this day was a success? It was hard, but it was a success. Or at the end of the day, do I want to, be upset that I did these compulsions, to do these things? Asking that question, I think, will give you a clear head, and I think you know exactly the answer that you want to do, and understand you have that choice of how you want to act. You have that choice in every moment. Your emotions cannot control you. You control your actions. Regardless of what your emotions are trying to tell you, you control the way that you act, and I think that's very important. You have the power to act regardless of how you feel. Act regardless of your emotions. If you are really angry at somebody, really mad, and want to in that moment, you have the option to be nice to that person. Really, to give them a hug. To take that action. Even though you really feel like strangling them, you have the power to not act on that emotion and give them a hug. Some people might be hearing this for the first time ever. I didn't hear, during my journey in overcoming RJ was when I learned this stuff. Oh, I don't have to act on my emotions. If I don't agree with somebody, I don't have to point the finger and say this. I can nod and smile. I can be nice to somebody even though I don't feel like being nice to them. Wow, that was very, very powerful. And again, that goes into all the other stuff we talk about acting, how you want to act before you actually feel that way, so on and so forth. So again, your day is going to end regardless. So Even if you're feeling bad, don't let this day get to you. Don't sit around and feel sorry for yourself, okay? Don't sit around and say, I'm worse off than I was before. Use this as a catapult to basically put you even better than you were the days prior by getting through these relapsing days. These days are important. They're almost like tests, okay? The universe is saying, all right, you're about to overcome this thing, but how about this? Let's see how bad you want it. How about this day? Let me throw another curveball at you. Take this. Let me see how bad you want it. And I know you want it bad enough to not take these days serious, to not let these days suck the life out of you. It's so crucial. It's so important to stay on your path regardless of how you feel. You have the power to do it. If I could do it, I'm telling you, and I don't say this as, as something like, oh, look where I am now. Oh, look at that. But I'm just saying, like, I was super shy, super insecure, super not happy with the way I looked, super just thinking my partner was out of my league, super intimidated by men everywhere. My retroactive jealousy was terrible, horrible. And I overcame it. You can do it too. I promise you, you can do it. No past is too great to get over. No situation is too great to get over. I really, truly, 100% believe that. And there's people that don't believe that. Good. Have that be your beliefs in your life. That's not my belief. You can overcome this. You can. No past is too great. You can absolutely do this. And you have the power to do it. And I'll leave you with a quote. And I don't remember the exact quote, but this is a quote from Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant said when they asked him, about all his success in basketball, about, all his success in business, everything he did, somebody asked him about, oh, you're living the dream. How does it feel to live the dream? And the thing is, he said something along those lines like, man, the dream is hard. And the person was like, what do you mean it's hard? Like, you got nice cars, you got nice houses. And he's like, the nice houses, the nice all this stuff, that's not the dream. He's like, the actual dream is getting up at 5 a.m. every day and working. The actual dream is going to basketball practice when I don't feel like doing it. The actual dream is when it's the third quarter of the game and I'm absolutely exhausted, but I've got another hour left in my game and I have to go out there. That's the dream right there. That hard part, the toughest days, that's the dream when you approach those days and tackle them. Because he's like, if I just, every day I didn't feel good, I didn't do anything, if I just kind of sat on my bed or sat on my couch on the days I didn't feel good, I would not be the success I am right now. I would not be, the basketball player that I am today. I would not have the businesses I have today. Now, obviously, we lost Kobe not that long ago. So I think that quote rings even more true now, is what he's saying is success, being successful is not those easy days like, ooh, look at me, everything's going so well. Success is acting on the hard days, acting on the rough days, still going towards your goal even when you don't feel like it. That's what leads you to success. That's what leads you to your goal. In our case, that's what leads us to overcoming retroactive jealousy. That wraps up today's video, everybody. If you enjoyed it, please smash the like button so we can get it out to more people. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. Click the notification bell so you are alerted every time I post a new video. And please check out the links in the description below. I just released my brand new course, the Retroactive Jealousy 1-week mind retreat. It's all about being in the present moment. It's all about meditation. It's all about mindfulness. It's 7 days long. Each day I give you about 6 different items to go over, between meditations, between videos, between activities. I think in total there's like 45 different items in the course, so it's quite a large course, but I think it'll be very, very powerful. If you're not familiar with mindfulness or meditation or things like that, the present moment, it's a good starting point for you. If you're somebody that's kind of dabbling a little bit in it, getting used to it, I think, again, it will kind of set you up to the next level. I'm going to teach you everything that I learned on my journey, everything that I went through and discovered by myself. I'm just going to present it to you. So here you go. Here's what I learned. I know you can do it. Take it. Run with it. Check that out before you go. And I'm going to go. That's it for me. So I'll see you in the next video. Have a nice, wonderful day.